Hello and welcome to Deck Builders Columbus, where we talk all things outdoor living. Today we are going to focus on the part of your deck you almost never see, but depend on every time you use it, the framing. Most people notice the color of the boards or the style of the railings, but it is the posts, beams, joists, and connections underneath that really determine how long your deck will last and how solid it feels under your feet. Let's start with how a framed deck actually works. The decking boards you walk on rest on top of joists, which are horizontal members spaced at regular intervals. Those joists transfer the load to beams, which carry that weight to posts. Finally, the posts transfer everything down into the footings and the soil below. When each piece is sized correctly and connected properly, the result is a deck that feels firm, does not bounce too much, and holds up to years of use. When something is undersized or installed poorly, problems start to show up. Joist spacing is a good example. If joists are too far apart, you may notice the deck feels springy or the boards flex more than they should. That can be uncomfortable and, in the long run, can lead to squeaks, fasteners working loose, and even premature deckboard failure. The same is true for beams. If beams are too small for the spans they are carrying, you can get sagging over time. Good framing design uses the right sizes and spacing based on how big the deck is, how high it is, and what it is expected to carry. Connections matter just as much as lumber size. Posts should be properly attached to footings and beams. Beams should be tied into posts with the right hardware, and joists should be supported with hangers at key points. Shortcuts like face nailing where a hanger should be, or stacking scraps of wood under posts instead of using proper footings, can all shorten the life of a deck. These are the details homeowners rarely see once the deck is finished, but they make a huge difference over time. Moisture is another big enemy of framing, especially in a climate like Columbus. Water sitting on top of joists or trapped between boards and framing can slowly work into the wood. Over the years, that leads to rot and spots you cannot see from above. Ledger boards, which connect the deck to the house, are another critical area. If flashing is not installed correctly, water can sneak in behind the ledger and cause hidden decay in both the deck and the house framing. That is why careful detailing and moisture management are so important. There are also situations where homeowners wonder if they can just replace the surface boards on an old deck and keep the existing frame. Sometimes that makes sense, and sometimes it does not. If the posts, beams, and joists are still structurally sound, properly connected, and sized for the current codes, resurfacing with new deck boards can be a good option. But if we find serious rot, undersized members, or outdated hardware, it often makes more sense to rebuild the frame so you are not putting new decking on top of a failing structure. For owners choosing long-lasting composite decking, this decision is especially important. Composite boards can easily outlast a weak frame. There is not much value in installing a premium, low-maintenance surface on top of framing that may not be safe in a few years. Building or upgrading the frame to match the expected life of the decking is one of the best investments you can make for a long-term project. If you are wondering about the health of your deck's frame, or thinking about resurfacing, you can reach our team at 614-412-4686 or visit toughdeckbuilderscolumbus.com to schedule a consultation. At Tough Deck Builders Columbus, we take a structure-first approach so the part of the deck you do not see is just as solid as the part you do. Thanks for listening to Deck Builders Columbus. If this episode helped you look at your deck a little differently, share it with someone who is thinking about a deck upgrade. And join us next time for more practical conversations about building durable outdoor spaces.